Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Just Wanna. I'm Donna.
I'm Liana.
And sadly, Carol is actually not here today. She is recovering from her second brain surgery. Carol, if you're listening, we're sending you love. We can't wait for you to come back and join us for the next episode. But to replace her, I guess we got some boys up in the house. We have Shawn and Aaron from Playback Appeal. Boys, what's up?
Okay, looking good, guys.
Playback. What's up? What's up, ladies? Thank you for having us, y'all.
What's going on, everyone?
So do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah. Let me start it off. My name is Aaron. I'm with Playback Appeal, and I'm one half of the Rap Geeks with my guy. Go ahead, talk to the people, man.
What's up, everyone? I'm Shawn. I'm one half of the Rap Geeks as well. Aaron and I started a YouTube channel / content house called Playback Appeal, probably during the start of this quarantine. I think probably around the same time as you guys started the We Just Wanna. And so, yeah, that's who we are.
Freshman.
There you go. Let's look at us. Look at us, YouTube, Spotify people, podcast people. So the boys are actually kind of close friends with us. We met each other back in college. So we've known each other about 4 years going now. So it's kind of interesting how we got this type of platform to kind of speak to everyone.
Yeah, and if you guys have the time, go ahead and check out their YouTube channel, because I know for your Playback Appeal, you guys actually go to older records, like 30, 40 years back, so you guys have pretty dope perspectives on that too, so check them out.
Oh, well, thank you. Liana.
Thank you.
So the reason why we invited the guys today is to actually talk about a topic that we're all kind of familiar with, which is dating. There you go. I mean, what's your guys' story on dating right now? What's the dating lifestyle?
Go ahead, Shawn.
Man, how do we even start? Well, I haven't had like a formal girlfriend since 2016 when I moved to the Bay Area. So I think I've been I guess single for like 4 years now. But I've like dated some girls. Probably the longest relationship, or not relationship, but like longest partner, I'd say, is like 3 months. And so, yeah, it's been an interesting ride. What about you guys? I'm curious to know. Well, I think I know, but go ahead.
Okay, well, for me, I actually came out of a long-term relationship. So it was about almost 7 years together. And that was last year. So now I guess I'm kind of new navigating this dating world, because with like all the apps and everything, I'm new to it. Like, I'm confused. I don't know what the terms are. Like, how do I play the game? So that's why I'm particularly really excited to have you guys, because Shawn, I guess you've been in this for a while. But yeah, Barker, how about you?
And you know what? I'm probably there with you too. I've hopped out of the dating scene for a couple years now, and if you don't mind, I might ask some of y'all some questions while we're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. Look at this. All four in the single train going on. I know both of y'all are not really from the Bay, but
Wait,
you guys see a
Donna.
No, Donna.
We didn't hear about your side. We didn't hear about what's going on with you.
I just said it. I'm also single. It's been a while since I was in a relationship, dating, just single, walking around, doing nothing.
Walking around being a snack.
Hey, stop it.
I like to say there's like a good quote that I learned from this Brazilian artist, and her quote was like, "I'm single, but I'm never alone." And I was
no, facts for sure.
Yeah.
I guess both like platonically and and romantically, I'm never alone. You can say that. But both of you boys are not from the Bay. Do you guys think there's like a difference between actual Bay girls and SoCal girls?
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, that's a good question.
But also, Barker and I are from different parts of SoCal, so I think life is really different.
So our girls are different for sure. You know, LA versus SD chicks. But me and Shawn actually had a slight convo about this before too. Kind of who's better, Bay girls or SoCal girls? You know what I mean? And before y'all hear our answer,
yes,
I don't know if y'all got an opinion. Maybe let's flip it. What about Bay boys and SoCal boys?
I want to hear this one.
Damn.
I've never dated SoCal boys, but I feel like they're a little bit more
you're missing
stylish.
out, ma'am.
Oh, you're missing
You're
out.
missing out. You're missing out. We're nice as hell, man. For real.
Donna,
Yeah,
what
I
do
mean,
we
you
get
like the beach?
ourselves
No.
No.
into? Fuck.
I want to say the boy, like SoCal boys and Bay boys, they got a different type of confidence. I feel like Bay boys are a little bit more aggressive though, and then the SoCal boys are kind of like trying to play it cool, and then they know what they're trying to do.
Yeah, Donna, I think you're pretty spot on about that. Like Bay Boys, I guess that's a weird thing to say. Bay Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bay Area guys, they definitely have this like kind of swagger to them, whereas SoCal guys, they try to win you over by being chill and grounded in who they are, you know?
No, most
Yeah.
definitely.
It's about who's the chillest. Dude, I'm way chiller than you, bro.
But like, if
Yeah,
you're
bro.
so chill, how do I know like you're into me? I'll be like, okay, you're just playing too hard to get, or like,
You're saying what SoCal guys are playing hard to get?
or I don't know.
Oh, if
in
you ran into
general?
somebody that was, just like so nonchalant about everything and you can't tell if he's vibing with you or not. Maybe he's not vibing with you. I feel like you would have felt it. You know what I
No,
mean?
there's ways you can tell. Like I think one way that people when they like each other, how they kind of figure it out is to I mean, it's kind of weird now that we have like the quarantine and COVID-19, but the early way was just to like slightly touch them. Like just slightly touch their shoulder, like especially with a girl, right? So like a guy says something funny, you'll notice the girl kind of likes you if she like starts giggling and then she like just slightly touches your arm.
We were just talking about this, right, Donna? We're like, because how do you flirt? And for me, it's actually touch. Like, of course, like it won't be like if you're making me laugh, I won't like punch you, but like I'll be like, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get it.
Okay.
But I just want to say, like, y'all have been to Arena, right, in SF?
Yeah, and K-Town.
Yeah, see, Arena SF and Arena K-Town are two different ballparks. It's like you gotta do a different persona for both of them just to understand like the like Bay boys, Bay Area guys, and like the SoCal guys. That's like my best example of like the different types of guys.
Yeah, but that's Asian guys. That's what you gotta realize. That's like Asian NorCal guys and Asian SoCal guys, which are totally super different.
Okay, so
what club? Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say like determine like tell us what the difference between SoCal girls and NorCal girls. Then how do you guys define us?
Well, if I can start this one off, I think the same confidence that you guys talk about in Bay Area dudes, I think Bay Area chicks got that same thing. And personally, that's what I like. And that's why I'm up here. I'm still trying to make it up here just for that, man. I don't want to go back home. I don't meet those chicks no more. They're, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I really like that energy, man. It's just like, I don't know what it is. Saweetie just dropped a video. You know what I mean? It's like that energy, like ish.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Not that I'm even up to that level, but just like, get a little flavor. You know what I mean? It's that kind of flavor that specifically San Diego doesn't have. LA may have some other kind of flavor.
Yeah,
That's a good word though.
I would say first, like LA is so big and the Bay Area is so big. Like even in SoCal, we make our own like judgments on like that's a Valley girl, that's a 626 girl, that's an OC girl. And so even within the context of that, like we have our own stereotypes about each other. And then the same as the Bay Area, like you have like East Bay girls, which is what I feel like Barker was kind of talking about, like that confidence. And then there's South Bay girls. And then you have like where I live in San Francisco. So even within San Francisco, you have like Mission girls, Marina girls. You have like, wherever people congregate kind of has its own identity. But at the end of the day, like I think the main difference between, I mean, like if I had to really generalize it, I would say Bay Area girls versus like LA girls, because like I don't have experience with like San Diego girls, just like Orange County and LA, is that I feel like they have different aspirations in life. And so a lot of these like Bay Area girls, they're kind of like career oriented women because they live in the Bay Area and it's like Silicon Valley and there's a lot of job opportunities. So I think if you're looking for more like long-term relationships and you want someone who's going to also be like a breadwinner for the family, and I think that's where like you would want a Bay Area girl because they probably got their shit together. Whereas like for me, an LA girl is just like more fun. Like an LA girl is more live in the moment. She like probably spends 3 times more hours in the gym than like a Bay Area girl because you can go to the beach like every day of the year. So they're a lot more about like appearance. And I think the LA girls, sometimes they're like looking for a guy. I want to say like physically attractive girls in LA always end up like marrying a dentist or like a real estate agent or like a guy who's kind of successful. Whereas in the Bay Area, like the girls are trying to make it themselves.
Wait, don't they want to have a career in entertainment or anything like that? Like
Yeah,
they're working.
most of the girls in LA, they moved to LA because they wanted to do something like acting or singing or any kind of entertainment or modeling. So that's why you get like a lot of those kind of girls moving to LA. And then obviously the kind of girls you get moving to the Bay Area are like career oriented women that want to get into tech, right?
All right.
Wait,
so
did
we're
you say
gonna
who was
go.
your favorite?
Ooh.
Did you say who your favorite was? Within all of that?
I mean,
What
I guess
section?
so. For me, like at 24 years old, I'm gonna go with LA, but I think that'll change if I like am 30 years old. I'd probably be more oriented towards like a Bay Area girl.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I would qualify myself as like a total Bay Area girl. I don't think I'm a little bit more down to earth. I think that sure, like I care about appearance, but I think for me to want to have a partner, it's more like, can I grow with you? Like, are you gonna challenge me? Not like, how rich are you? How deep is your pocket? So I would qualify myself as that.
I gotta ask y'all about that too. About the fear of gold digging. I think a lot of, especially when it comes to splitting bills or paying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, especially, and Shawn mentioned this earlier about, we got, I don't want to call them career women, not that they aren't, but I don't want to say, because you didn't mention that the LA chicks weren't career women, because I think they're also trying to make a career in entertainment. It's the same thing, but the job is obviously different here, and they're not struggling actors here. You know what I mean? We all pretty much make at least 50K and up, right? On a on a good day, right? And so, the splitting bills and everything, where there is that, oh, I got it. Don't worry. You know what I mean? But also, you're doing that. You're paying to not look like you want to gold dig or anything like that, or maybe not. What's the mentality behind paying or not paying for y'all?
Okay, so this is such a good question, because I always have this like issue, because if I go on a date, I'm like, I don't want him to think that I'm just there for a free meal. Like, I actually genuinely maybe enjoyed his company. And then but then I don't want to emasculate the guy and be like, nah, dude,
okay.
I got it. So yeah, I kind of want to throw it back to you guys, because I'm like, I feel so bad, but I think that, I mean, I'm under this notion that you guys actually like to be the provider. Like, it actually makes you feel good to take care of us, and we love to be taken care of. But make no mistake, like, I probably have all the material possessions that I want. But yeah, so like, where's that line? Like, I don't want to like emasculate you guys.
Yeah, I've thought about this topic quite a bit, and as far as like splitting the bills, and especially if you go on a lot of dates as a guy and you're always constantly paying, like you can get broke pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I think the rule of thumb, and this is like my rule of thumb, is it really depends on what's the socioeconomic difference between like you and the girl. Is the girl a student where like she's still studying in school, or like maybe she just graduated from college and she's working as like a coordinator for a hospital, so it really doesn't pay that much? In that case, like, or maybe she's like an immigrant, so she doesn't really have means to work. In that case, like, I feel like it's okay for me to pay, and that was just something that was kind of instilled in me as like a kid. Like I was always told to pay for the bill. Even when I was like really early dating in high school, my dad would slip me a 20 and say like, "Hey, pay for the meal," even at like Olive Garden or something. Yeah. And so, but I did hear another really good. I heard a really good one from a girl that I went on a date with, and this girl was like in her mid 30s. So she's like over 10 years older than me, but she's Filipino. So she's like kept in pretty good shape. Like, she doesn't really raisin at all. And so, so I met her at like the club. She probably didn't even know how old I was. Like, she probably thought I was in my 30s too. Right. Cause I kind of look older. And so
you got a 32 vibe on you.
Yeah. That's what Barker says. Barker says when I shave, I look younger, or look older when I shave. And so, we went out and I went out to like district in San Jose. I went out to district in San Jose with her, and then when the bill came, she didn't. I knew she was making money, so I knew she was like, but what she, and then I ended up paying for the whole thing. And it's interesting because you'll know if a girl is down a split if immediately she like grabs the check and puts her card there and says, "Hey, let's split." And you'll know a girl doesn't want to split if she doesn't do anything when the check comes. So
Guilty.
yeah, so like this girl didn't do anything, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'm paying, and the bill was like over $100 for like wine and chartreuse boards and whatnot, and so I paid it, and then I asked her like, I was just like, okay, well, what's your thoughts on splitting? Because like this was, I want to know her honest answer, and she says, well, if you ask me on a date, you're asking me to go out of my way to go on a date, then I think it's fair that you're paying because you're inviting me.
I agree, actually. You know what? So for first dates, though, I would offer, but like I'd be like, "Are you gonna take it?" Because it's kind of sexy when you kind of like just.
No, I agree. I agree.
So
Donna said.
I'm sorry. I was like, bitch. I think the same way. I will offer. I will put my card. But if the guy will go first, I'm like, okay, go ahead, baby. Take it.
I'm like, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't like how the answer sounded. Obviously, I want to pay. I want to pay for everything. Again, if I am taking her out, but I don't know. There was something going out of my way that wording kind of bothered me. It's like, what am I, an inconvenience for you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
This is a mutual date. This is both of us. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. I just don't like the wording, but maybe I don't know if she meant it like that.
Well, if the bill was $100, I'll offer to like split it. If the bill was like $30, okay, maybe you can afford that one. That's on you the first time.
Right. I've had situations where, I mean, I pretty much for the most part always pay for the first date, and then I run into this thing where the girl says, "I'll pay for the next one," but then there's never a next one. So it's like I feel like I have all these liabilities accruing up. You know what I mean? Like if we were to apply some accounting to this, like I'm accruing some liabilities.
Why do you have to bring accounting into this?
You're collecting. I guess like, okay, so here's another segue, I guess, with dates, right? Like how I know like ghosting culture is pretty prominent, and I gotta say I'm kind of guilty of it, because it's like if I go on one date with a guy and I'm not feeling it, how do I let him down? Because it's only been like one date, and like it wasn't like said that it was even a date, but it is. So I don't know. Where am I going with this? Like,
I think I know what you're saying, though. I think I know what you're saying, but I say keep it like that. I don't say change anything. Keep that tension.
Ooh.
Keep that tension.
No, I got it. I got a different view than Barker.
Okay, what is it?
Yeah, so with ghosting, obviously, I get it. There's a game to be played, right? And the game is called the investment game. And I feel like whenever, especially like now with like online dating, where you're literally like talking to multiple people, like 5-6 people at a time, and it's clear to me that the game is I got more options than you, so I might not respond as frequently as you'd like me to, and you might be responding more frequently. So I feel like there's always this like dynamic of like who has the less amount of investment in each other at all times. But as far as like the ghosting thing, I personally prefer when a girl is just straight up honest and says, "Hey, I enjoyed our date. I really like you, but I just don't feel a connection." And you know what? And I understand why they ghost, because a lot of guys can't take that, because their pride and their ego won't allow them. They might act like a little bitch. They might, start calling her up 100 times. They might, start texting her, trying to understand why. But at the same time, if she's not, it takes two to dance, right? So if she's not feeling you, it doesn't matter how you feel about her. It's got to be mutual. And if she's not feeling you, you just gotta kind of gotta let it go. So I would think like if you have a read that this guy is about honesty and he can take it, he doesn't have a fragile ego, then tell him the truth. But if you feel like he has a fragile ego, like he's got some pride issues, then you taper him slowly. And the way you would taper him is you would say he texts you, you would take the whole day to text him back, right? You would take a long time to text him back. You might give him really low investment texts until you, and then you know what? Maybe you show yourself on Instagram with another guy or something like that. So he's getting the message. You're slowly selling him the message that like you're not that into him.
I did that once when I went on a date with a guy on Bumble. Like I said, hey, you know, we're cool, but I don't want to continue this. And then he was asking me why. And then after that, he sent me a dick pic. That's why I was like, I'm never going to do this ever again.
Hello.
That's why I was like, I'm just going to ghost him and just leave him. Yeah, because I said, okay, have a good life. And he said, oh, check your snap. I was at Trader Joe's and I opened it. It was a damn dick pic. I was like, never mind. This man's confidence is super high right now. That's going to change my mind? Oh, hell no.
Oh, since you brought up Bumble, what are y'all thoughts on meeting people on these apps now, man?
The only way to
and
meet
I know
people.
you starting. You're just now starting, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of like on the brisk of deleting it. Like not that I had like a bad experience with it. It's just with COVID, I can't even meet the guys, and I have like I've been pretty busy that I've been ghosting after like a day. So, and I feel bad. Like these are, they seem really nice. So instead of like just kind of leaving it on and not replying to them, I might just delete, because how are we gonna meet? I mean, it's such a weird time right now.
Wait, wouldn't it take more time out of your day if you were to actually meet people instead of being having to message everybody right now? You know what I mean?
No, because like you can go on one Bumble date and end the guy. But if you're gonna be on Bumble, you gotta, you know, you're always on your phone. What are they gonna say? Like you have no excuse to not see the guy.
So the buildup is just gonna keep building up until the final fucking meetup. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's damn, that's too much attention.
Exactly.
Okay.
And like I know some people, they're like talking for like 2 months and then they meet. But I'm like, I'm so busy anyway, so it's like I love to meet guys in person though. Like I had a lot of fun before COVID, just kind of like exploring new places, and like there's different guys out there, and you know, they kind of bring something different to the table. But with COVID, it's like shit, like I feel so bad first of all for not replying after like expressing my interest, and I'm like fuck, like, and then 2 weeks later, and then I got bored and I'm like, what is he doing? But then I feel bad 2 weeks later, and I'm like, I don't want to come across as that girl. So I might just delete. But anyway, you guys might have a little bit more interesting stories.
Yeah, I think well, I downloaded the online dating apps last week. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. I feel like most people that are on the apps are down to meet in person. That's going to be my take on it. I think at least in San Francisco, like the majority, maybe not in the suburbs, but like in San Francisco, I feel like most people are actively going on dates right now, especially now that like outdoor dining is out. And I went on 2 dates this weekend. So I would say for you, if you don't want to meet them in person, like, because, you know, maybe you live with some older people that are more high at risk and it's not really suitable for you right now. And
Yeah,
maybe
that is me.
yeah. So, I mean, in that case, just maybe do a FaceTime date. You know, I even think that some of these apps have like video call built in now. I think Hinge is one of them, but maybe just like a quick FaceTime date, and maybe like your first date with that person after you vibe with them heavy on FaceTime would be a socially distanced masked walk around a park. You know, because that's honestly been pretty been the way for a lot of people, is just going on a walk. Like now, since you can't really go to a bar, you can't really go to a restaurant, you just ask the person if they want to take a walk together.
Yeah,
that's
why
cute.
Why don't you meet like just not FaceTime, but just something something farther away from your phone, like maybe a Zoom or something. Just send a Zoom link or something and like meet up. You know, and why can't you do that? I think if there's a chemistry in a webcam, then there's got to be chemistry in person. I was wrong about that once in my life, though. I thought that if you can have FaceTime sex, there'd be some good chemistry in a relationship, but it's not like that. It doesn't translate sometimes. But I think,
as soon as
if
you
you
said
got
webcam, I didn't know what you were alluding to.
you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think if this is cool, it's nice, you know what I mean? Y'all playing around making jokes, already got inside jokes through a webcam. wouldn't the in-person be tight too?
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. It's just that I'm just at that stage where it's like I kind of started to enjoy being single. I didn't want to like just, I don't know. I feel like I'm still navigating that gray area between I'm such a long-term type of person naturally that now I've been single after a very, very long time. It's like, shit, I forgot what it felt like. And I'm just kind of reinvesting in myself, like doing podcasts with Donna and just kind of reconnecting with old friends like you guys. But of course, like I get like lonely and be like, like I miss flirting, I miss like dressing up and looking cute. And then that's when like I go on. But then I'm like, nah. So I'm like freaking roller coaster, guys. So I gotta admit that. But yeah, I kind of considered like FaceTime, so FaceTime dates. So if you guys have any activities, so maybe like virtual escape rooms or I was like paint by numbers. Anyone want to do that?
Oh my gosh.
Damn, that's a high that's a lot of investment in there playing these games. I was just thinking like a quick 10-minute like, oh, how you doing, you know?
Yeah, see, I'm so rusty.
No, I mean you're very creative because I think you come from that long-term relationship background, so you get creative with things. That's what I noticed.
Oh, no, help me out. Why are you quiet?
No, I'm listening. I'm like, wow, that's a great idea. You should usually like, hey, like make sure they're not catfishing me or anything like that.
No, right now is a good time. I think it's a good time for you. If you've been in a relationship that's been like, I mean, how long was your relationship?
It was
How
like
long was it?
7 years. I was
7 years.
19.
Okay, yeah, you need to take some time off. Like that's you
Yeah,
need
you might
to
need to get back to
process.
yourself.
Yeah, you need to spend some time and be in a relationship with yourself right now because I think that's you need to learn that a little bit, and maybe after like a year, you know, maybe you can think more long term. But even with like dating, right, it doesn't necessarily mean that every date you get into has to go anywhere. It could just be enjoying that person for one date, two dates, you know, whatever. So I don't think you got to put that pressure on yourself that like every date you go into has to be a long-term strategy. As you mentioned this is that every guy has something different to offer, right? So you kind of learn that. You learn that by dating different people. You see, oh, okay, you're kind of building this algorithm of what kind of people do I like to date, and you only know that with the more reference points and data you add in. So I think that's the way you should kind of approach it right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that analogy a lot.
Dude, at least for me, when I got out of a long ass thing, man, I almost felt like when you're with somebody for that long, you naturally lose a part of yourself, right?
It felt like that.
And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and if you hop into something else immediately after, you bring that
It's
shit
like
from
that
the last thing
baggage.
over to the next one, right? And
Right.
so you gotta spend, I would think, at least a year, like really fully immersing in yourself and those that you love. I call them my 20 percenters. You know what I mean? The 20 percenters of people in your life and the 20% of things that, you know, you spend 80% of your time doing pretty much, right? So that's what I think fully immersing yourself in you is. And I think that's the best form of recovery.
But for the three of us who's been single for a quick minute, are y'all trying to like, are you guys done, you know, self realizing yourself now?
Shit. I keep saying I am, but then I go back and think, man, I ain't ready, man. And here's the difference between me and Shawn, I think. When it comes to our views on dating, man, I don't know. I feel like I have to fully prepare myself to meet my wifey. You know what I mean? Like I'm fully preparing. I think about it like that because I mean, I grew up off of Key Sweat, you know what I mean? I grew up off of Luther Vandross. And so it's like, that's pretty much what my view of how a relationship should be kind of looks like. It's I don't know, motherfuckers call it old school or something, you know what I mean? But, and it's a little bit traditional on that side. And so that's kind of what I think about. So it's different now that I'm trying to come back into it, having to kind of break away from this. It's probably a little Disney in my original way of thinking how dating should be like, right? So trying to break away from that is kind of hard. And I've been kind of struggling letting go of that.
Hey, you're setting really high expectations on what a date
What I
or
should
what
be.
a partner has to be or what yourself has to be. And I think that can be kind of unhealthy.
And it's unfair, I guess, to that other person. I don't know, just putting expectations on somebody you never met.
And it could lead to a lot of heartbreak too. If you think that every time you get into a date with a girl that one's going to have to be your wifey, but Yeah, the experience is the heartbreak, but how many heartbreaks do you really want to have? There's going to be a point where you start meeting people and you say, okay, this might not go anywhere, and that's okay, but I'm giving it a shot.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I mean, balance, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I totally feel you, Parker, because it's like I realize like I've been so heavy and head on with everybody that I meet, and I'm like, oh my god, is this the one? Oh my god, and I'm like, and I had to kind of like take a step back too, and it's kind of like our natural instinct to be like to be a long-term investment, because I know when I'm in a relationship, I kind of tend to give it my all, you know, and to think that like, can I actually do one night stands or like toot it and boot it? Like, I'm like, can I?
Hey,
So
Shawn,
like,
tell us what's going on in your mind when you've tooted and booted with someone.
Well, I think for one, the more times you toot it and boot it, the less likely you're actually thinking to get back into a legitimate relationship. The more you as a person go into hooking up, the less likely it is that because you're getting your sexual needs met, which is maybe half the relationship. I mean, really, like, that's what it is to me. It's like your boyfriend or your girlfriend just happens to be like maybe this best friend figure that you have sex with. You know, at least that's just the way that I see it. It's like it's your best friend, but also someone that, you know, you have some like fun in bed with, really. And so, you know, I guess I personally, like, this is me. I mean, obviously everyone's had those moments where, I don't know, they do what's convenient. But for the most part, for me, if I get jiggy with someone, I'm thinking, uh, hope, hopefully this is like, hopefully this is someone that I'm going to share more with than just the fun side. And maybe, but I don't know, you know, I think that's something I'm still trying to figure out myself. So, yeah, I digress.
I mean, for me, it's like when you've been hoeing around for a while, you want to do that, you know, dating to
Hello.
marry type of night right now. That's it. I'm dating to marry because I'm tired. Too many games.
too many
Damn.
games. That's the thing. And then like, I mean, am I wrong to think that like once you kind of have a deeper connection with someone, like everything is better? Like in bed is better. Just like the quality of time gets better, because I think there's this notion of like, guys, you guys are less emotional than us. I think that with girls we're like
I don't know. I'm a Cancer, so I might have to disagree with that.
yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I think you guys can kind of like compartmentalize like, this girl is just for a one night stand and that's it. But for us, I mean, no, there's
Mm.
other girls too actually who just wants to go
No,
out.
you'd be surprised. There's a lot. There's a lot of girls that, especially like the ones that are like pretty attractive, the ones that and have a high sex drive. Like, I think for them, for sure, like, you'd be surprised how many girls are okay with having a one night stand. It usually is the ones that are on the dating apps for a long period of time. That's what I've
Mhm.
noticed.
I feel like me and Donna we're both kind of like one person type of person.
Mhm.
Anyway.
That's hard. It's hard to be that, because I consider myself that too. But it's hard to be that when it seems like everybody is with everybody. You know what I mean? It's
Facts.
getting with everybody,
Mm.
and it's hard. I've been back and forth talking about trying to go on the apps, but then I almost feel like, am I even gonna find what I'm looking for?
Well,
Because I mean, Shawn just
not,
mentioned it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
just mentioned it, like the chicks that are on there, and then I gotta meet up with them, or I gotta game them up a little bit just to figure out, okay, they've been on here for a minute.
Well, it depends on the app. So I think like an app that I've been more active on is called Hinge. And I feel
Mm.
like Hinge, is more of like a long term dating thing. I feel like people that are on that app are looking for something more serious. But if you're on Bumble and Tinder, I feel like those are a little bit more geared towards just like having fun, having some mischievous fun. Something I've realized living in San Francisco is that polyamory is like super big out here. Because you'll see a lot of girls, or I don't know, I don't match with guys, so I don't know what their profiles look like, but I'll see a lot of girls that in their profile they'll say I have a boyfriend and we're in an open relationship. And even on the app called OkCupid, um, there's an option that says, are you monogamous or open to non-monogamous relationships? And something about San Francisco especially is like kind of like this free-spirited place. And you kind of realize that people who do these like polyamorous activities, that do these relationships, like, you know, managing multiple people, they recognize that they can have a separation between their emotions being met and their like exploratory sexual needs being met as well by being polyamorous. I've never done this before, but as I'm kind of diving into it, I think that's something we're going to see more and more of.
All three of us were like, we like to stay, you know, one side. I see you. I respect that though.
No, that's why we have you, Shawn. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess like, is there anything that you guys would like to know from the girl's perspective then? Is there anything that's kind of like confuses the heck out of you that we do?
Yeah, I mean, everything you guys do confuses the heck out of us.
But that's the fun in it, isn't it?
You know what?
That's what
I have a general rule. I don't take dating advice from women. Because you know why? Because the advice they give to men is not the advice that they follow.
But now, Shawn, so Shawn said, I don't take dating advice from women. And you know what? I've heard this been said before. And this isn't my thought. This is what I've heard, okay? You don't ask a fish how to catch a fish. You know, you don't, right? Like, that's not how it works. Why would they? And yeah, exactly. And also, if he had all the answers, that's an argument that I've had in multiple relationships. You know what I mean? I'm not just going to tell you everything I want. You know what I mean? Because obviously in Western romantic relationships, right, you guys want to be in one, right? He's supposed to know kind of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you want. He's not going to ask you, what do you want for your birthday? You could ask us what we want for our birthday. And we'll be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Let's go out. Let's watch a outdoor flick or something. Let's get some food. But then if a dude asks you what you want, you know, you want him to figure it out. So you can see a reflection of what he's seeing in his heart about you.
So how good are you?
Oh yeah, don't take advice from women.
Yeah.
How good are we at that? Sometimes I took some L's, man. I don't know.
You know what? You can
gifts.
take advice. You can take advice from, I think, like women who are into other women, like lesbians and maybe like bisexual women. I feel like you can take advice from them because, you know, they've seen both sides of the spectrum. So they got an even better idea of how it works than you do.
It's a different stimulation, though, I would think. Like the stimulation, mental, you know what I mean, sexually, physically, everything, physiologically, it's got to be different when they deal with a woman than dealing with a man. When they're having relations with a woman, they're not looking for the same thing that they're looking for in a dude. I would think. That's my theory. I don't got a close lesbian homegirl, though, so. In the comment section, let us know.
Well, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of lesbian, like, for instance, the person who cuts my hair is a like lesbian woman, and I knew it. I have some fascinating. The thing is, she plays the role of the man. You're like, even within like gay relationships, LGBT relationship, I think there's always someone who is playing the role of like the more masculine and the more feminine. You know what I mean? It doesn't, and it really comes down to, you know, being in touch with your masculine and your feminine and understanding how much she wants.
Hello. Talk to him. Let me add to that, please, if y'all don't mind. All right. So I've been, you know, me and Shawn, we talk about this every now and then. You know, we talk about the book, The Way
Maybe
of the Superior
every
Man.
Single time we talk about this.
Fucking day. All right. So this is just general advice in any relationship that's probably two people, maybe a third person, who knows. But no matter what you are, female, guy, female, guy, somebody's got to have, you know, their divine masculine energy, and someone has to have a divine feminine energy for things to work. I mentioned tension earlier. You need some source of tension. You don't get tension when it's same.
Preach.
So, yeah, that really changed my mind frame on things. And it's really just know what you are in the relationship. It's all right, you know what I mean? If you're a dude and your lady paying for your dinner, she, you know what I mean, she's a financial analyst, you know what I'm saying, she's getting at least 85,000 and she's paying for dinner, you're still probably in school or something. I don't know what you're doing, but there's got to be a balance for sure. And I think a relationship will work that way as long as both people are like really giving their fullest gift, you know what I mean, really, and not lying to themselves about their energy.
Yeah, I think I want to add to that about like a personal experience of mine is that I think it's safe to say like I'm a pretty like hyper masculine dude. Like as in there are things about me that like for instance, I think any guy who does like combat sports and martial arts is really in tone with like how to hone in on that type of violent side, that type of that side of men that needs release, right? So I went on a date with a girl who was a very type A personality. I mean, college star athlete, you know, going for a master's program. Um, and I think that when the masculine represents control, so like this woman was really in touch with her masculine side, and so she always felt the need to control things. And then I would say the kind of woman that I get along with is like the one that's really in touch with her feminine side. And what feminine means is the spontaneity, the I don't know what's going to happen. There's a little bit of chaos in it. There's a little bit of creativity and artisticness to it. And so that's why, like, when you think about it, in all of these stories, there's always this guy who's like this really manly man, and maybe he's like a war hero, maybe he's like a top-notch athlete, maybe, you know, who knows. But that woman is there to provide some type of element that he's lacking, right? That woman is there to be his other half. And so I think as a man or a woman, you got to realize, like, okay, what kind of guy am I looking for? Am I looking for the guy that's more supportive and he's going to give me words of affirmation and he's going to be there for me? Or am I looking for the guy who's going to wear the pants and is going to take the lead and take the direction? And I'm going to be more of a support role. And as long as you find that balance, I think that's when good relationships start to have chemistry.
I think, Donna, you and we touched on like love language. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. I think each person has different way of, you know, how they communicate love. But I, for one, like, I agree. I think it's more of like feng shui or something. Like, it's like a balance of the hard and the soft, or it's a dance. And I realize that too. I think it's like I have to respect the way that guys are. Like, I love to be taken care of, although I am a nurturer, but like when a guy kind of like takes the lead in something, I will follow. So yeah, I think I remember when I was younger though, I wanted to kind of have the guy to perceive myself as like, oh, she's independent. So that's why I was like, I got this. But at the end, I'm like, no, like, I like to be taken care of and I am independent, but I realize now in a relationship, it's more about being interdependent. So it's like, I need you, you need me, let's do this together. It's not like, I got this, don't worry about it. I think that kind of, I took the wrong approach in that. So yeah, I think it's like you guys said, it's a balance of both feminine and masculine.
No, I feel like, Leanna, you're someone that, you know, don't mistake femininity for non-independence or weakness. I don't feel like that at all. Like, the feminine is the reason why mothers can raise their children to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
And
Single
you
mothers
need
too,
that.
they can do that.
I grew up with a single mother. I think Barker did as well. So like my mom
had a stepdad.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, he had a stepdad. I wasn't so lucky. And I think being feminine is being strong. You know what I mean? So just because you're in touch more with your feminine side, it means you want a guy who's masculine, but a guy who's also gentle. A guy who understands where his masculinity plays in the dance with your femininity is going to be a good match.
That's it. You just got to be real about that. And honestly, I think y'all would get great value out of reading The Way of the Superior Man, to be honest with you. Because honestly, what it did for me in only the first 8 chapters is just reframe what I think about femininity and masculinity. And you'll learn so much more about yourself and the people that you want to deal with.
Don't read the book. Don't read the book Why Men Love Bitches. My mom was reading that book. My mom read that book growing up, and I think that fucked her up, man. Like, I think
that's the female counterpart of The Game or something, right?
Yeah.
By Neil Strauss.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's a great book too.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the book called, Barker? What was
The
book
Way
called?
of the Superior Man
by David
Dita.
Yeah. Okay.
I read that way back when I was like 19.
Yeah, what you learn about your 19-year-old self, man?
I just the only thing I learned was like, It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. You got both femininity and masculinity. You'll hear those two words maybe like 4,000 times as you're reading that freaking book.
Puts a lot into perspective. Changes everything. It changed how I talk to my family members. It changed how I talk to my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And they talk about this. There's a dance. You say dance, and it's really a dance with people.
I got a question though. How do you guys feel when they say boys ain't shit? Then.
Well, then that's what they're attracting. They're attracting boys that ain't
They're
shit.
probably on Tinder.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you come into the world thinking like, you know, imagine me, right? Imagine I get rejected a lot. Let's say I get ghosted a lot. I start having this mind frame that like all women are bitches, all women ghost, all women blah, blah, blah. Well, if I keep thinking that, that's my reality. So it's the same thing for women too. If they come in and they don't, like, women have to realize that men do have the ability to heal as well. You know, as soon as you think that like the world is full of men that do nothing but destruct and they're terrible and blah 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 and they ain't shit, well, you know what? That's your reality and that's what you're gonna attract in life.
Yeah,
I believe that.
I was actually thinking about that. I was like, I can't think like that. Of course, like I can't generalize men based on like one bad apple. Because otherwise,
or 12 bad apples or 100 bad apples. You know what I mean? There's a million apples to try.
Yeah, you gotta make that algorithm, like Shawn said. Fucking nerd. You gotta make that algorithm and data of all the
man,
people.
that's me. That's my job.
That's Black Mirror shit too.
Well, I really enjoyed talking with you guys. Seriously.
Oh, thank you for having us. For
Thanks
real.
for having
We
us.
appreciate y'all. Y'all are fun. I miss y'all.
Okay, so Donna, I totally forgot about fun fact. Do you have one?
I forgot. So if you guys know that we do a fun fact at the end of each episode, I know you all have, you know, random facts in your head. You guys want to share anything?
What do you mean? Don't you got to ask us the fun fact question and then we answer or no?
No, we just say one random fact that you learned
Anything.
or that you know, like a random thing. Look at y'all.
Yeah. All right.
It doesn't have to be about dating. It can be about animals. It can be about a plant. It can be
Yeah.
about a sport. It can be about a car. I mean, since y'all are like,
This is hard. We don't know that much, you know?
no, okay, fine.
Well, we know too much random shit.
That's what I'm saying. All right, but
Fun.
since your like YouTube, your podcast is about music.
Oh,
give
you
us
know
one
what?
random
You know
fact
what?
about
I
music.
know one random fact. A
Go on.
group of pugs is called a grumble.
Oh,
You look like you was swiping through something down there, bro. What are you talking about?
No, I was trying to remember the name, but like it's they don't call them pugs. If you have like 12, 15 pugs together, they're called a grumble.
So
How
now
so?
we just want to say thank you all just for coming. If you remember, just to hit the boys a holler at their YouTube channel, Playback Appeal, right?
Playback.
Yeah.
You already know.
All right, guys.
awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. See you guys.